how are y'all doing? I want to welcome y'all to our virtual summer reading program. I'm Miss Terry, and I'm with DeSoto Parish Library with Logansport Branch. And our theme this summer is Imagine Your Story. And you'll be hearing some fairy tales, folk tales, fables, mythology, and lots of other fun stories. Now, as y'all know, we're having to do this a little different this year, but just bear with us and we'll get through it, and it'll be lots of fun. So y'all can watch, pick up activities at all your local branches and join in the fun at the end of our stories. So let's get with it and have some fun. Good morning. How are y'all doing today? Today we're going to do our storytime painting with Miss Janet Dawkins. And while I'm reading, there are two books. They're going to be a Chinese Beauty and the Beast, The Dragon Prince, and my favorite, Tikki, Tembo. Miss Janet will show you, she'll be painting, and if you came by, you have everything in your packet to do a painting just like this. Right now, Miss Janet's going to give you some directions, and the directions are in your packet also. All right, Miss Janet.
Hi, I'm really excited to talk to you about painting. If you haven't painted before, one of the first instructions I give anyone is to start furthest away from you. If you have your painting elevated like this, or if you're laying it down on the table, you start from furthest away from you and then paint this way. And you have a better finished product. And don't get nervous about you can't mess up, because this is acrylic. Just take a paper towel if you don't like it and dot that off. Let it dry a little bit and then go back in. Art is always something that you can't mess up. It's just something you got to work on a little more until you get it just like you want it. And I hope you have a lot of fun doing this. I did. This is a really neat story. But one of the main things I want to talk to you today is about colors. In your packet, you're going to have white, red, blue, brown, and yellow. And out of this, you're going to make all the colors you need, just like on the front of her book. And it's really neat. You'll only have 5 colors. And you're going to really like seeing how you make your own colors. The red and the yellow, do the orange, have more red in it and just a little yellow for this darker parts. And then when you want to lighten up, just more yellow and barely any red. And you'll learn to make your own colors. So red and yellow, make orange. And if you wanted to bring some purple in, I really didn't, but you can do blue and red to get purple. And down here you've got yellow and blue, and it'll make your kind of green glowy skyline, and we're going to do that right across here. Okay, and you have instructions in your packet also with all this written down step by step, so don't get nervous, and you'll have this on video so you can watch it over and over, and then you'll have your instructions. Okay, I'm ready to begin.
Are we ready? All righty. This is The Dragon Prince by Lawrence Yelp, and it's a Chinese version of Beauty and the Beast. All right, once there was a poor old farmer with 7 daughters. The land was so barren that he grew more rocks than rice. The family would have starved had it not been for their youngest and prettiest daughter, 7. She could weave the finest silk, embroidery the fanciest stitchery. Under her needle, unicorns, dragons, and other magical beasts came to life. Her work was among the noble families of the province. The third daughter, 3, was jealous of 7. How come 7 gets to stay home while I have to work in the dirt? The farmer scolded her, because she cooks and cleans and does the work of 3 while you spend all day plucking one weed. One afternoon, the father had gone to town to sell 7's silk. 3 found a golden serpent in the rice field and raised her hoe to kill it. 7 had brought her family's dinner down to the fields. No, it's just a little water serpent. Stopping her sister, the kind girl picked up the serpent and left it out in the fields. Shame on you for scaring my sister, 7 said, as she set the serpent down and walked away. So the serpent wiggled right to the heels to a cave, where he began to dance in circles, and he changed into a huge dragon. That afternoon, as the farmer returned home, the dragon sprang from a nearby cave and seized the farmer by his paw. Give me one of your daughters for a wife, and I'll give you your life. I couldn't order any of them to do such a thing like that, the farmer cried. Then prepare to die. And the dragon raised his paw with his claws as sharp as daggers. No, wait, the farmer cried out in fright. Just then the oldest daughter came looking for him. And when she saw the dragon clutching her father, she shrieked, Papa, come home! 7 has made you rice and fresh fish soup, especially for your supper. My darling oldest child, the farmer said, if you don't marry this dragon, I'll be his supper. I'm sorry, Papa, but your supper will just have to get cold. And she ran away to hide. So it went with the next 5 daughters, until 7 herself came to find the rest of the family. When she saw the giant golden dragon, she walked slowly toward it, saying, Papa, come home. I've made rice and fresh fish soup, especially for your supper. The old farmer tried one more time. My sweetest child, if you don't marry this dragon, I'll be his supper. 7's eyes measured the sharpness of the dragon's teeth and claws and the power of its armored body, and she was afraid. Yet she could not let her father suffer such a terrible fate. Then you can have your supper, Papa, because I will marry the dragon. Releasing the farmer, the dragon reared up into the air. Climb onto my back, he told 7. As soon as she did, the dragon shot into the night sky like a meteor. Higher and higher they soared over the hills and mountains, past deserts and seas, on and on, until the sleeping world became a lull of dark velvet and the lake's silvery sequins. Still, higher and further the dragon raced until the Milky Way wound its way across the night sky like an endless bolt of the whitest silk. See him going through the night? Miss Janet, you're doing really good.
Thank you. That's my favorite, when he's flying through the night.
They flew so fast they caught up with the moon, which shone like a giant pearl upon the sea. And within the sea lay towns and strange gardens and waving forest of kelp. With one last surge, they plunged beneath the surface to a vast palace of living coral. 7 found that she could breathe beneath the surface. Setting her on her feet on the courtyard, the dragon kept his paw around her. Aren't you frightened? I could crush you like a twig. For a moment, 7 stood utterly still in his paws, gazing up at the dragon's face. His scales gleamed like jewels in the golden net, and his eyes shone like twin suns. It was the face of terror, and it was a face of beauty, and a face of magic. Slowly she stretched out her arms. For a moment his large head flinched from her tiny hand. I knew the loom and stove and many ordinary things, she said, but my hand has never touched wonder. This time, when she stretched out her hand, her head remained still, but the big eyes watched her. Gently she stroked his cheek. You are beautiful. You are beautiful, the dragon replied, but you really should be frightened. 7 smiled. The eyes see what it will, and the hearts see what it should. If you had meant to harm me, you would have already done so. See how pretty the illustrations are? Look at this. That's my favorite picture of the dragon.
Oh yeah, that is good.
I've worn many disguises and scoured the land and sky and sea, but I haven't found anyone who is your match. You are brave and kind and true as well as beautiful, the dragon cried. He leaped away from her and began to dance, curling his powerful body as easily as a golden ribbon. And overhead on the surface of the sea, the moon seemed to dissolve and fuse again like a school of fish darting this way and that. He began to spin in water until he became a column of light. And from that light, he outstepped a handsome prince. Now, will it be such a terrible fate to marry me? And she laughed. Not at all. 7 now wore elegant silk robes, dined in the rarest delicacies from gold plates and drank from jade cups. A dozen maids obeyed her slightest whim, and even so, she was not used to being idle. She asked for a loom. But now she embroidered only golden dragons on the shoes for her prince. But as the days passed, Seven became sad and lost her appetite. When her husband asked her why, she told him she missed her family. Then he said, I understand it is the custom among your kind that brides may visit their families after they marry, but you must come back in 10 days. Seven promised, and that very night she slipped into her finest robe and put on her jewelry, while the maids decorated her hair with precious pearls and jade. When she was ready, she climbed out of the sea and into the air. And behind her chair flew all of her maids. Her family was astonished the next morning when the glittering procession descended from the sky. Seven bowed to her father and greeted her sisters. You'll never have to work or go hungry again with all the gifts I've brought you, she said. When Seven told them all about her husband, the family was happy for her except for three. Three envied her sister's jewels, clothes, and servants. They should have been mine, she said to herself. So the next day she took Seven down to the river for a picnic. And then she asked her, Little sister, may I try on your things? To please three, Seven exchanged clothes with her and let her put on her jewelry. Then they went down to the river to look at their reflections. But as Seven leaned over to see her image, Three knocked her on the head and shoved her in the river. When Three told the rest of the family what she had done, she warned them, The prince will come back as a dragon. He will eat us if you don't do what I say. And they were very afraid, so they did what she said. They told Seven servants that she had fallen ill and was sent a message to the prince. Don't be surprised if she looks different. When the prince heard that, he didn't come or care. He showed in a short time Seven had come to mean everything to him. Except for her beauty and especially her beauty and her kindness. When Three dressed in Seven's clothes and went to the palace beneath the sea, the prince did not say anything. He saw how ugly his wife was now, and he was surprised, though, that she did not know where anything was, not even her room. She was all thumbs at the loom, and her embroidery stitches were ugly and clumsy. It's the illness, Three lied. It made me forget everything. Why do you pick on me like that? You will make me sick again. Though the prince apologized, he was uncertain, for neither his eyes nor his heart saw what they should. This cannot be my Seven, he told Three he was going to hunt, but he did not tell her for what. Determined to discover the truth, he set out for the world above. Seven had not drowned. Down the river, an old woman had found her and taken her home. Seven was very sick, and the old woman nursed her for a long time. When Seven finally woke up and told the old woman who she was, the woman smiled. You're confused, dear. You can't be that lucky girl. She's already gone back to her husband. The old woman felt sorry for Seven. Stay with me for a while until you're well. So Seven stayed with the old woman and wove the silk and embroidered the shoes that the old woman sold at the marketplace. Meanwhile, the prince searched everywhere for clues of his lost love. One day he happened to pass through the market and saw the pair of shoes that the old woman was selling. Embroidered on the cloth were the giant gold dragons dancing above the waves beneath the full moon. Hardly daring to hope, his heart pounding, the prince bought the shoes without bargaining, and then he followed the old woman back to her house. As soon as he saw Seven, he rushed inside. I've been looking everywhere for you, he said. I wasn't sure, Seven confessed. I heard that my sister Three took my place. He smiled. Not in my heart, which saw what it should. So will you come home with me? Yes, said Seven, and the prince transformed himself into his dragon shape, and with Seven and the old woman on his back, they flew to the palace beneath the sea. They sent the shamefaced three back to her family, and then Seven and the prince and the old woman settled down for a happy, long life together. The end.
That's a great story.
I like that one. Miss Janet's doing really good. We got one more while we're waiting on her to finish. And this is one of my favorites, which I have a lot of favorites. But it's called Tikki, Tikki, Tembo. And by the time we get through, you'll be able to say this little boy's name. Have you heard this before? Miss Janet?
Yes, I have.
I like it.
I think that was when my children were little.
Well, it's old.
I thought it was an old one.
Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, it was the custom of all fathers and mothers in China to give their first and honored sons a great long name. But second sons were given hardly any name at all. So, in a small mountain village, there lived a mother who had two little sons. Her second son, she called Chang, which meant little or nothing at all. But her first and honored son, she called him Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, No Saw, Rimbo, Cherry Berry, Root Chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo, which meant the most wonderful thing in the whole wide world. Every morning, the mother went to wash in a little stream near her home. The two boys always chattered along with her, and on the bank was an old well. "Don't go near that well," warned the mother, "or surely you will fall in." But guess what? Boys being boys don't always listen. So one day they were playing beside the well, and Chang fell in the well. Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, No Saw, Rimbo, Cherry Berry, Root Chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to his mother and said, "Most honorable mother, Chang has fallen into the well. The water roars, little blossom. I cannot hear you." Then Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, No Saw, Rimbo, Cherry Berry, Root Chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo raised his voice and cried, "Oh, most honorable one, Chang has fallen into the well." "That troublesome boy," answered his mother. "Run and get the old man with the ladder to fish him out." Then Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, No Saw, Rimbo, Cherry Berry, Root Chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to the old man with the ladder. And he said, "Old man with the ladder, Chang has fallen into the well. Will you come and fish him out?" "So," said the old man with the ladder, "Chang has fallen into the well." And he ran as fast as his little legs could carry him, step, step into the well, picked up Chang, step, brought him out of the well again. He pumped the water out of him, pushed the air into him, pumped the water out, pushed the air in, and soon Chang was as good as new. See, there's a different Chinese dragon. Now, for several months, the boys did not go near the well. But after the festival of the 8th moon, they ran to the well to eat their rice cakes. And what do you think happened? They ate near the well, they played near the well, they walked on the well, and guess what? Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, No Saw, Rimbo, Cherry Berry, Root Chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo fell into the well. We knew that was going to happen, didn't we? So Chang ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to his mother and said, "Oh, most honorable mother, Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, No Saw, Rimbo, Cherry Berry, Root Chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo has fallen into the well. The water roars, little one, I cannot hear you." So Chang took a deep breath. "Oh, mother, most honorable, Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, No Saw, Rimbo, Cherry Berry, Root Chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo has fallen into the well." "You tiresome child, what are you trying to say?" mother. Cherry, berry, rainbow, Tikki, Tikki, Pip, Pip has fallen into the well. Unfortunate son. Surely the evil spirits had bewitched your tongue. Speak your brother's name with reverence. Poor little Shane was all out of breath from saying that great long name, and he didn't think he could say it one more time. But he thought of his brother at the bottom of the well. So he bowed his head clear to the sound, and he took a deep breath, and very slowly, most honorable mother, Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, no saw, Rimbo, cherry berry, root chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo, is at the bottom of the well. Oh no, not my first and honored son, heir of all I possess. Run quickly and tell the old man with the ladder that your brother has fallen into the well. So Shane ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to the old man with the ladder, as he sat, bowed and silent. Oh man, shouted Shane. Come right away. Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, no saw, Rimbo, cherry berry, root chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo. Can y'all say that with me now? Come right away. He has fallen into the stone well. But there was no answer. Puzzled, he waited. Then with his very last bit of breath, he shouted, Oh man with the ladder! Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, no saw, Rimbo, cherry berry, root chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo is at the bottom of the well. You miserable child, you disturbed my dream. I had floated into a purple mist and found my youth again. There were glittering gateways and jeweled blossoms. If I close my eyes again, perhaps I will return. Poor little Shane was so frightened. How could he say that great long name again? Please, old man with the ladder, please help my brother out of the cold well. So, said the old man with the ladder, your mother's precious pearl has fallen into the well. The old man with the ladder hurried as fast as his legs could carry him. Step over step, he went into the well. Step over step, he came out of the well with the little boy in his arms. He pumped the water out of him. He pushed the air into him. He pumped the water out and pushed the air in. But y'all say it with me, Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, no saw, Rimbo, cherry berry, root chop, Pip, Perry, Pimbo, had been in the water so long, all because of his great long name, that the moon rose many times before he was quite the same again. From that day to this, Chinese always thought it wise to give their children little short names instead of great long names. The end. Now, did y'all like that? All right, now, do y'all think y'all will learn? Look, Miss Janet's almost done. She is good. So, have y'all learned anything? And I hope you have lots of fun.
It is fun. So remember to do all his claws and the hair growing on his elbows and the end of his tail and it's all his fur. It just makes it really interesting. And I wanted to show y'all, since we have a second, I'm going to show you how to make the trees at the skyline. You just draw a line straight up and down, and then you take your paintbrush and you just make little strokes across. And so it'll make it look more like trees. Can you kind of see what I'm doing? And instead of just looking like paint, it'll look like trees. And you know how when the sun is going down, you'll have yellows and greens and oranges. And so when you get through, that's what you'll have. You'll have a really beautiful skyline. In China, I have a feeling their skyline, see how flat it is? I have a feeling it's beautiful when it gets dark. Okay. There you go.